This week's episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by GoDaddy.com.
Gamefly.
And Squarespace. There was a game that haunted me all my years growing up on Nintendo called Impossible Mission. I was excited because I thought it was Mission Impossible, the game. It was really
It
weird.
was Mission Impossible for dyslexics.
I'm at the local GameStop and I see Impossible Mission. They put it out for the Nintendo DS.
ported it
and
to
I'm
the
like,
DS?
awesome. I'm brilliant now compared to my 10-year-old brain.
Right.
So I bought the game.
Okay.
It is impossible. It
No.
makes
Well, they say that in the
I
title.
know, I was just about to say.
no sense.
It's not like they didn't warn you.
I would love to know how to play because there's a part of me that thinks it'll be really fun.
I want to see. So,
you putting
so
it
the
in your
question
new awesome
is,
DSi?
you try it. You've
No.
tried it,
Yes.
and then you want to know if we know how to play it now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, hilarious.
Yeah, that's what DSi.
I think that's the password.
Now you do stylus, I think.
Nope. Come on.
Come on, what?
Bling, bling, bling.
I know. I just remembered that. But when I need to go back, it only accepts it once. So I think
I think you used it. You
Wait.
only had one of them and you used it.
Is that supposed to be on the screen?
Hello. I can't tell you who I am. We need to talk about your mission. I don't have much time. Your mission on this week's Totally Rad Show is to discuss the films Star Trek and Wolverine, as well as the video game Wolverine. Now this is important. I'm going to leave you this briefcase. It discusses...
living normal lives are recruited by a team of super spies. Their missions classified, but you may surmise they battle evil by quoting movie lines. Game and TV guides are used like knives to quell the rise of demon samurais. We know it sounds contrived, but we tell no lies. It's as the name implies, the Totally Rad Show.
Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show, episode number 111. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
The Totally Rad Show is a weekly dose of all things rad. We touch ourselves on our communicator, beam ourselves
Is that what you call
up
it?
into the space, and look down on the earth.
It's not.
And find out what's rad.
It was.
Technical.
It was not any. It was not any space. It was
It's the space.
The space.
Well, you don't want to be in like
The
some other
stars.
weird space. You got to go up to the space.
Yeah.
I
We
had
have-
like 27 touch me in my communicator jokes.
Thank you for
I didn't
abstaining.
say any of them.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're super excited. Huge, huge show, as you can
Huge.
see by our background. Brendan
Very cool.
Barta sent in.
Very cool. We got a lot of actually rad Star Trek backgrounds, including this one that
I love it.
Omar sent us.
Love it. It's
where
us in Star Wars.
like the saddest
Star Trek.
Star
I know.
Trek officers ever.
No, this is literally if we went on like a road trip in the Enterprise and we were all kind of bored. Nothing was
It's like,
happening.
We went to Vegas of the Stars, and this was the trip back.
Yes.
Where you're like, I don't even want to be in the car
Yes.
anymore.
So we're sticking with Brandon's.
Yes.
And which is awesome. I mean, they're both awesome. Everybody, thank you very much. for
Yeah,
sending
it's
those
super,
in.
super cool. But we have a huge, huge, huge show.
Yeah, that's not to mention all the Wolverine we're getting.
Which is why it's huger. Let's get into it. It's huge, Jack.
This week in movies, we're talking about two huge, the start of the summer.
The start of the summer.
Two huge movies, the start of the summer.
Blockbusters.
One that hasn't come out yet. We're going to tell you all about it. It's called Star Trek.
Little movie you may or may not have heard of, Star Trek.
So J.J. Abrams is a part of the geek culture by being behind the television shows as Felicity, Alias, and Lost,
Yeah.
and directed a couple years ago Mission Impossible 3, but now has firmly planted his foot in geek culture by remaking one of the most beloved
IPs.
geek properties of all time. In his
Own image.
yeah. So J.J. Abrams' Star Trek is basically an origin story about how the Starship Enterprise that we know and love from the TV show and movies all came together.
Basically.
Alex, you have gone on record as saying that you...
I was hesitant.
Were hesitant.
I was hesitant. I was very
How hesitant you were.
concerned.
Right.
The hesitant
Very
mental pass. The
concerned.
hesitant
I'm very curious.
Hesitant man kneels before God.
hesitant mental pass.
I'm very curious what you thought of the movie. So please tell me.
It's a good question.
I didn't mean to laugh like that.
Good
I
question.
apologize.
No, that was very manly.
Yeah.
I was very cautious. I didn't know what I was sort of getting into. There were a couple things in the trailer that stuck out that were issues I had. I think overall, the movie turned out to be as good as I could have ever hoped it would have been. I thought it was amazing from beginning to
So
end.
Dan's barometer holds up again.
It does, and it was awesome. There were, it was just a thrill ride from beginning to end. They did enough to, and pander is the wrong word, but they did enough
Fan service.
fan service to me, the little guy who loves Star Trek. There were moments where you're like, that is exactly what I wanted him to do and be and say in the fan side of me. But the guy who likes movies that just do cool stuff and have great premises and great cast and great writing was there too. So it was almost like the best of both worlds. And Simon frickin' Pegg is amazing. I even thought John Cho, who I could take or leave in a couple of his movies. I thought he was great. I thought the guy, Carl Urban, who plays Bones, was awesome. He's sort of the only one that does the sort of affectations
Yeah, he
of
didn't
him.
show any of his country music career roots in that at all.
I think you're thinking of Keith.
Oh, darn it.
But anyway, so I loved it.
You know, I forgot to mention that the writers of the movie are the team Kurtzman and Orsi, who also wrote Mission Impossible for JJ, but are behind the TV show Fringe, did Alias with JJ, and also wrote last year's Transformers and this year's Transformers. So they have two, and they are executive producers on the movie, and they've been producing movies. They're sort of an incredible writing team as far as becoming filmmakers.
Right.
Jeff, what did you think of Star Trek?
I agree with Alex. I think it succeeds at being a complete summer blockbuster thrill ride. And also succeeds on emotional levels for me, who has a very deep connection to these characters. I welled up a few times with certain things that happened. There is a very deep sort of emotional storyline that's going on that I thought really worked. It is big and exciting and fun and funny. I think Chris Pine is a superstar who is about to happen. He has that wonderful combination of being at home in these comedic, silly, slapsticky moments, and also, but never losing that masculine hero. And it's something that a young Harrison Ford had, like the tapestries, scenes. Chris Pine is at home there, and yet we never for one second not think he is a badass who's capable of flipping out and killing people at any time.
I love it.
There are wonderful moments that I urge everyone to avoid spoilers, because I didn't know there was a lot of stuff in the movie that was. This is a brilliant transformation from being a television series that had a movie chapters, but was a television series, to being a film series. And the thing that they do so brilliantly, and I wish I could spoiler it out, but I don't want to, is keep all of the changes that they made completely in continuity and justify everything. And it's awesome how they pull that magic trick.
Yeah, yeah. it was
Which
great.
seems to be a modern thing with the reboots. There was one of the other remakes we had recently was it kind of kept it in continuity while being totally new. I forget what that film was, but it seems like that's the
Well,
trend.
while you're talking about how you like Star Trek, I'll be not listening and thinking of what you're talking
Please do.
about. I will.
Because I had really high expectations for this movie. I haven't been as excited for a movie in a long time, and this absolutely met those expectations. It was amazing. I have to second what you said that Chris Pine is Harrison Ford and Kurt Russell. I want to be him so bad. If they do a younger Big Trouble in Little China remake, it is him, dude.
I leaned over to you while we were watching and I said Captain America.
Yeah, I thought Bruce Greenwood could have been older at Captain America. He's a great actor. And Carl Urban.
Yeah, right?
I don't understand
Kiwi.
that casting choice.
Yeah, that was the one that confused us.
Every other role that guy has been in has been nothing like this role. I don't even get how you think. I mean, he must have said, "Look, let me do a voice for you. I can do this."
Well, he
You know what I mean?
clearly is doing an impression of what's his name?
Yes, the guy who plays Bones.
We should know his name. Come on.
You guys
know
are
it
the-
in a
you
second.
guys are the guys. I just
I'm
had a
thinking
brain.
of what he's talking about 5 minutes ago.
Anyway, I couldn't be more ecstatic about Chris Pine, and I urge you to go back to an earlier episode of Talk Rad Show where Jeff and I raved about him after seeing him in a play. So it's in.
We knew it first.
We knew it.
You said that man could be Kurt.
It was me, you, and JJ. But dude, I am. He is it. I mean, he's the future of movies for the United States, for the world.
The United States of the world. I want to bring up another thing.
Hold on, I gotta say
I'm
a few
sorry.
more things.
Oh, I want to throw it to you.
Okay, throw it to me.
Because I think this movie is classic filmmaking, and one of the reasons is the phenomenal score. And I know that you can speak more intelligently about the score. Did you not feel that way?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting.
I assumed you would.
The score, I liked a few elements from it. It had no theme. It did have a theme, but I didn't love it. It didn't have this big fanfare.
Wow, I loved it.
It was very simple. There were a few incidental moments that really created mood, but it's not a score I would go home
thought
and
it was
listen
like
to.
driving.
Can we
It's
talk
not
about
Michael Giacchino who does Lost.
Can we talk about the sound effect for going into warp speed?
Oh yeah, so bad. It's like a bullet.
That
was
was it.
Yeah, it was the bullet being launched. Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
I'm sorry, I
amazing.
totally interrupted you there.
But the other star of this movie is Dan Mindell, who's the cinematographer, who does all the Scott, not all the Scott, but a lot of the Scott, Tony and Ridley Scott movies, and has done some of my favorite commercials. He did MI3 also with JJ, and the colors in this movie, the colorful cinematography it's awesome, 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 awesome. A great movie. Leave it to JJ to humanize this, what always felt very stilted to me, and I had to read into what these personalities. I felt like real geeks of the Star Trek series understood the different interjecting personalities. But they were really brought to the surface and nuanced by the actors. But in the story, I welled up in the first 10 minutes.
Me too.
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
like,
Me too. The first 10 minutes is awesome.
And
They do not start
he did the
slow.
same thing. Mission Impossible 3, what this movie is to the Star Trek series, what Mission Impossible 3 was, I felt to the first two Mission Impossibles, or even the show, where it humanized this stuff that's normally just thriller and things that happen, and it's very plot oriented.
I didn't really
and it makes it so character oriented.
Yeah, I didn't really love Mission Impossible.
I think Mission Impossible 3
great.
is one of the most underrated action films of
I'll watch it again.
our
On Blu-ray.
of the past 20
Generation.
years, of our generation. Moving on.
Speaking of action films.
Speaking of action films, we're going to talk to you guys about, and to each other, about Wolverine.
Oh, I'm not telling you anything.
An interesting amalgamation of talent, a combination of filmmakers. It is directed by Gavin Hood, who won the Foreign Academy Award for Tsotsi. And
interesting.
It's the Academy Award for foreign film. There's not some foreign Academy Award.
Foreign Film Academy Award, yes.
Blade Low Oscar.
And then made the movie Rendition that I really enjoyed. It was an amazing structure that I highly recommend seeking out. And it's written by David Benioff, who wrote one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies, and definitely one of my favorite Spike Lee movies, The 25th Hour. He wrote the book and the screenplay for The 25th Hour, and Troy, and the screenwriter Skip Woods, who did Hitman and Swordfish.
Oh, okay.
So action movie screenwriter, intense drama screenwriter, and political thriller and drama director coming together to make Wolverine, starring Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And like Star Trek, Wolverine is basically his origin story.
Well, it's in the title there, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes, it's actually, right, the true title is X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is a part of Marvel's new breed of films. They're going to soon be doing X-Men First Class, or whatever, that we sort of get a tease for the end of X-Men Origins Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, Liev
Yes.
Schreiber
Liev
as well.
Schreiber as
Sabretooth.
Victor Creed, yeah.
Creed, yeah.
Or is it not Sabretooth? Is it not
Well,
Sabretooth?
It's weird because clearly this is supposed to be in continuity with the X-Men films, and we had a different actor and a different, very much different kind of Sabretooth, who was referred to as Sabretooth and not referred to as Victor Creed. So there's a chance, the very geeky side of me is going, well, there's a chance they're kind of splitting these into two entities.
So Geek Cred established, Jeff is the big comic book guy.
Well, I want to even further establish my geek cred because
You're in this movie?
I wish. No, growing up, I was very much a Chris Claremont X-Men devotee.
Right.
Whereas kids, my contemporaries growing up, they would have posters of Michael Jordan and Kathy Ireland on their walls. I had a poster of Wolverine.
Nice.
And it's that classic Arthur Adams Wolverine running at you in his brown and tan costume.
Yeah.
Loved it. So I was a huge in the pocket of Wolverine my whole childhood. So there's a certain impartiality I have because I have such a close love for this character. And unfortunately, I didn't enjoy much of this movie. There's stuff to enjoy. It's not a terrible movie. It didn't feel fun enough. The action sequences are for the most part not particularly thrilling or inventive or interesting. I was thinking about this movie going in because I was excited about, or I wanted to be excited about it, and I was thinking about that other classic X-Men cover, which may be one of the best covers of a comic book ever, which is Uncanny X-Men 213 with Wolverine and Sabretooth locked together in a battle. I wanted to see that, and they fight in this film, but it never reaches the visceral level, and maybe that's the PG-13-ness of it. I don't know, but. There's a lot of fun superhero stuff in the latter part of the film that I liked, but I just wasn't interested. Hugh Jackman is a very charming actor, and I liked watching him on screen, but there wasn't enough fun stuff to do, and it just was a sappy story.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you. Yeah. Because I really could disconnect from a lot of the stuff that I was like, there were a couple lines in there that were sort of like, I heard a right after we're said.
I think that was me, I'm sorry.
We shouldn't have gone to the movie together. But I thought that the action sequences were really fun. I thought that the awesome way that they basically told the story of these two brothers growing up and going through all these wars together was really cool. In the opening credits, it was like, for me, that was like, oh, okay, I'm in. There were some special effects problems. Like there were a couple when he is like looking at his claws at one point. They looked really CG, and I was like, oh, I don't want him to look. It looked like Roger Rabbit for a minute in a bathroom scene. I was like,
that scene when Roger Rabbit pulled
there's no
those
CG in
claws.
Roger Rabbit, but I hear what you're saying.
No, I mean that's what the CG looked like, and hand-drawn, whatever.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, I really did enjoy the movie, and then I almost feel like I shouldn't bring this up, but I had a real problem with the sort of teaser thing at the very, very end of the end credits. To me, it completely ruined the whole movie because it was such a wah wah. And now saying that, we saw a press screening. We did not see the same teaser ending that Jeff saw. Now there are a few of them, but I still don't know if I believe that the one that we saw was actually not just a press can't see these things because we don't want them to leak, which I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe that,
Yeah.
but I don't know that
we
that's
should
true.
say too that they announced that Gavin Hood announced that there are multiple
Right.
endings.
Yeah.
So
It's not multiple endings. It's multiple little
post
buttons.
credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did say multiple, but yeah.
Well, but
They
then
didn't
we
specify.
know that that's not
We know
the
that
case.
that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a 20-second button that
Yeah.
bears very
So
little
what did you-
relevance.
It's
What
the
did you-
Marvel trend to have a scene after
Yeah.
the end credits now, but after Iron
Right.
Man.
And the one that we saw had nothing to do with any other movie. I mean, it was a joke. But go ahead.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But it didn't make the movie any worse than I already thought it was.
No.
The first opening 10 minutes had me. I was like, oh, I could have a lot of fun with this movie.
Right.
And that wonderful fable-like way to tell the story of him coming up in the world.
Yeah.
Awesome. But the story was completely lame. The action absolutely had some cool moments thinly spread throughout. But the plotting and the script was so clunky.
Yeah.
It felt, the movie is so set piecey. It felt like they came up with a couple key moments, which is what we do know that they do that from
Right.
time to time. And I'm
Set
sure
pieces.
some good films are written that way, where they come up with a set piece and they sort of back into a story. But not all movies have to feel that way. And this movie felt that way. Every random mutant in the movie felt like shout outs for fans.
A lot of them weren't.
And just
Some of them weren't.
barely there. I feel like now we know why Bryan Singer didn't want to include Gambit in his movies. As much as the kids loved Gambit from the
Yeah.
comics and the cartoons because they loved how he looked. Like there's no meat to that character, and there was
Right.
no meat to that character in this movie.
Yeah.
And the effects were really dodgy.
Yeah.
There was just an artifice to the lighting. That was done by this guy Don McAlpine who did Moulin Rouge
Yeah.
and some other and Peter Pan. Wonderfully stylized lighting, and it worked so well in Moulin Rouge. But it all felt done in studio.
Yeah, it definitely had a studio
stylist,
vibe.
just
Even some of the outdoor stuff felt
very
much
very
background-y.
disappointing.
The moment where he decides he's gonna put on boxing gloves and get in the ring with Blob, it's like that is so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
my favorite moment was when he's walking out and has flannel on, and then all of a sudden it's like turn around and he's like wow with his wife beater. I was like, what? Why would you take off your flannel? Really? It's gonna get that badass? You gotta take off the flannel?
Clearly you've never been in a moment like that.
Show me you taking off the flannel. Don't just cut to.
You like to be teased.
That's his shoulder.
In an effort to end on a more positive note and to say something that I totally forgot to say about Star Trek, I feel that going back to Star Trek for a brief second, that it's going to have an Empire Strikes Back caliber sequel. That most of the time
You
when
mean
you see
Wolverine well?
Star Trek.
Oh, you're just talking about Star Trek.
I'm doing
So
Star
you're
Trek.
gonna finish on a positive note, but not about Wolverine.
Not about Wolverine.
I thought you were being nice to Wolverine, and then you went.
I am.
I'm gonna
Okay,
be
leave it
nice
at that.
by going back to
Leave
Star
it at
Trek.
that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think most great movies you say, well, sequel's redundant. We already had a great, but this is such a good first movie, and
Yeah.
I feel like we got that out of the way, and now let's get to the goods, which is kind of what the first X-Men film was, and X2 is generally regarded as the better of the movies. So
I'm ready for that.
yeah.
Yeah. Wolverine 2. Wait, what?
It's that time again.
To break forth the rhythm and the rhyme.
Actually, it's a little later than that time. We should have done this already.
We
We are
forgot
now
about
doing,
doing this.
We are now doing the third and kind of fun that's happening. Third annual summer movie wager.
Dan doesn't take much to excite him, Trachtenberg.
It's definitely a week later than it normally occurs for us. We are now doing it the week that the big summer movies are coming out. So we actually have already seen one of the summer
One of them,
movies.
but
So
just one.
Just one.
So it's not too bad.
We're seeing the other one after we shoot this.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit
And
of.
there's already kind of early indications about how that one's doing, which
Exactly.
is unfortunate, which we would prefer not to
Interesting.
have. at
I
all.
don't have that piece of information.
Well, the internet does.
We're gonna go through the list of all the movies coming out this summer and place our bets on top 10
And the
of
difference-
being highest domestic gross
Yes.
of
At
the
the end of the
movie.
summer.
at
The
end of
difference this
summer.
year is that we're actually going to use all of the movies coming out this summer,
that's
rather
right,
than
I thought-
arbitrarily leaving a few
No,
off.
it's not my. It's Entertainment Weekly's fault. because that's where we got
We
the
didn't
list
have
from.
Hulk last year on
Yeah.
any of our lists because we forgot it was coming out.
What we do for scoring, so you can play along at home, is this link somewhere on the screen from Time Travel Reviews. It's just some dudes who like did this one summer, but we
Smart.
glommed
It's
onto
basically
it.
like a
and it's
drinking game.
basically so. But the rules are very specific, and they are about if you have 1 or 10 dead on, you get 13 points.
Right.
If you get anything on your list.
Yeah.
Dead
Dead
on.
on,
Accuracy.
it's 10. If you get 1 away from where it is in the list, you get 7 points, 2 away, 5 points, and there's dark horses.
Yeah, you
So
also
it's
have 3 dark
basically-
horses that you get a point if they're anywhere on the list at all.
So if you get a couple that are dead on, you may win better than someone who's gotten most of them right except for being one off.
We should recap the fact that first year Dan won, second year I won. So
I'm
Alex
due.
is due for a major victory here.
This is
no
gonna be,
pressure.
No, none taken. Okay. Okay.
See, here's the thing, Daniel.
Yeah.
Not having the exact release dates doesn't let me know what comes up against something. Does Terminator Salvation and Drag Me to Hell come out the same day?
You guys aren't doing from the gut, which is how I've been able to cruise through the last 2 years without.
Now, this is a scientific process based on science. Last year, I put a lot of thought into release, and earlier movies
I know, and I
were
thought that was
front-loaded.
very smart of you.
Right, but it turns out Dark Knight was not an early movie, and it made the most last year. And none of us had
there's
it in its
always
number one spot.
exceptions.
No, but none of us had it.
Yeah.
None.
New
Not even the
dicks.
winner.
Yeah.
This guy with the thumbs.
There's some tricky dicks in here, folks. There's some tricky dicks.
Are you talking about Bruno? That was a dick joke.
Number 1 for me?
For you.
Number 1
I mean, I read your list, so I know what it is.
Number 1 for me is Star Trek. I think
Yeah.
Now that's a bold choice because there's no stars in that movie.
Right. I think Star Trek is this year's Dark Knight and Transformers in that it's the first huge one. It has all summer to accumulate its money.
And you think it's going to be good.
And I think it's going to actually be good.
Now it's
that'll
interesting
be-
There's a
because
few later on my
you'll-
list that they're later because I think that they will
Well-
have big opening weekends but bad word of mouth.
Let's be clear. You're seeing this segment after you've already seen our review of Star Trek.
Right, we haven't seen it
We
yet.
haven't seen it.
So you're guessing that it's going to be good.
I feel very
What is your
certain
number
that it will
one?
be
What is
good,
your number
but yeah.
one?
My number 1 is Transformers 2.
My number 1 is Harry Potter.
That's
Whoa!
Now maybe that's
bold.
because I mean, I know you're a Harry Potter fan, but I'm a big Harry Potter movie fan, and this is like the first real of the books. This is the first book that was a real change.
I think the Harry Potter phenomenon has waned simply because the story's done. People
Yeah.
got the conclusion of the story, and it feels like maybe we've moved on from that.
Now I went number 2 with Star Trek. Because I feel like even though I'm still not sure if I think it's going to be a good movie, whether it is or not, there's so many people that are going to go see that movie. Everybody who's a Star Trek fan in the world has to go see that movie.
My number 2 is Terminator Salve.
Interesting.
And I went and specifically because of the
Both of
Christian
those
Bale
movies-
is a movie star.
What do you?
My number 2 is Transformers.
Interesting.
Transformers.
Far down did I put?
Transformers 2. The first Transformers was number 2, I think,
Right.
around that summer.
Right.
And I think it's going to be just as good. I think it's going to be exactly at that level.
terrible.
I don't think that. No, just as good. Number 3 for me is Terminator Salvation. For all the same reasons, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a PG-13 but hardcore action movie.
Yeah.
For everyone to go see, and it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I think.
You think?
Yeah.
My number 3 is Star Trek. So I didn't fall too far. I
No.
think the
Top
lack
threes
of
are
stars.
always-
Yeah.
The biggest star in Star Trek is J.J. Abrams. He's the biggest marquee name in that movie. And Star Trek is nerdy. Among our people,
Yeah.
it's huge, and
Yeah,
we love
but-
it. But among the average people,
Here's the thing,
Star
there's
Power.
more-
I'm going Angels and Demons.
See, here,
Third.
it's okay. Angels and Demons for me is the trickiest thing on this list.
Yeah.
the trickiest dick.
Because Da Vinci Code was massive.
Yep.
I think interest in this series overall has waned, and I think Tom Hanks as a leading man, especially in this kind of movie, has waned a little bit.
Number 4, I put Harry Potter
Okay.
because I think it will be big.
For Harry Potter.
I put Up.
4 is a really good place for a Pixar film.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
where
That's how I
they've
feel.
been the last couple of years for
how I
me.
feel.
I put Up number 5.
Yeah. What did you put for number 5?
Number 5 for me is Wolverine. I had Wolverine and number 4 originally, but then it dawned on me because It's our superhero movie. Iron Man, Spider-Man, they've all
And
done
Hugh
really
Jackman
well.
is big, although Australia tanked.
Hugh Jackman is big, but it's not. It's
I
not.
know.
No one who would go see Wolverine or the X-Men movies went to see it. I mean, it's not. They didn't
did.
feel catered to them.
We were forced
We're
to
different.
us.
We're different animals. So what was your 5 then?
Transformers 2.
Low for Transformers. I gotta say.
I don't know.
Angel of Demons and Transformers and Harry Potter. You have a very weird list, but like,
I do, but
you
here's
can
the
be
thing.
dead on and I
Here's
would be
the
an
thing.
idiot.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing.
All he has to get nail is 1 or 2 right on.
I
and
know.
it's
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is Wolverine. So we had Up and Wolverine swaps.
Okay.
Yeah. I did, that's where I put Terminator.
Yeah, my
I think Terminator is going to be hot poop on a stick.
really.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's gonna be good.
We know it is
yeah.
because that's my predictive scale.
What are you talking about? There's some
Whenever
good
you
movies.
think it's not going to be good, it's awesome. So Star Trek you're gonna love. We haven't. They know.
Okay.
Star Trek you're gonna love. Terminator you're gonna love. Transformers you'll love.
Yeah, I was scared about
Harry
Dark
Potter
Knight.
you might not like.
I was scared about Dark
All right,
Knight
what's your
and Iron Man. Go ahead.
position?
Oh, dude, I could list. Anyway.
Yeah.
Up is my number 6.
Okay.
I think
had mine
it's
5,
very low.
4.
It's very low for a Pixar movie on this list, which scares me. But I think WALL-E was a little bit lower than Ratatouille, and I think this one seems to be even less. This one is less of an idea that you can hold in your hand.
Yeah.
There's no animals in it in the trailers. I could be wrong there. So
G.I. Joe.
Okay.
good place for that. That's interesting.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I went with Angels and Demons here.
I went with Angels and Demons there too.
I'm excited that you guys are so close because either I'm gonna fucking rape you guys, or I'll just be like, well, you guys were close.
That's kind of how it happened last year too. We were pretty close, and you.
My number 8 is Ice Age.
Interesting.
Ice
I
Age.
went
very
with the
well
same
be
type. I did
huge.
Night at the Museum.
Okay.
My number 8 is G.I. Joe.
It's good. It's a good place for it.
I
mean, it's one way
that
from where
movie
it's
could
gonna
either be
but-
an enormous flop, or
the movie's gonna be horrible.
Well, no. I mean, box office wise, it could be an enormous flop.
Right, yeah.
Or it could
should've
be
put it
number
as a
8 on
dark
my
horse.
list.
I have G.I. Joe's number 9.
See, I have Night at the Museum as number 9 because
Number 9, I have
believe
Wolverine at number 9, and that does not.
be all
That's
right. Pretty
and
decent.
That could be
does
good.
not reflect how I feel about the movie at all. It just was that's with the start of the fact that Wolverine comes out,
Yeah.
and a week later Star Trek comes out. I mean, talk about a momentum killer.
Well, but
you know
that,
what I
was,
mean?
that's how
that
the
was
summer
Iron
is.
Man and then Indiana Jones or
yeah, but,
whatever the other one.
yeah, right.
That's how the summer
Those are
is.
the top 2 movies of the.
Okay, my number 10 is a bold choice.
I think yours is the same.
Are you gonna
Really?
put it as Star Trek again? Bold choice. I think
It's gonna hit this list in 2 places.
Oh, that's it. That's it. I'll say our number 10 at the same time.
All right.
mine is gonna be the bold choice. You and I might be right. I mean, you and I might be in sync. Get ready?
We're 98 degrees.
Wait, what?
What?
You said in sync.
After 3, not on 3.
So 1, 2, 3. Name me your movie. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Hangover. Yeah. There's nothing surprising about that. Borat was huge.
It's
Yeah.
So why would not? There's nothing.
There's other
the
comedies.
Hangover. The Hangover.
Oh yeah, that's bold.
is the
No,
one
no,
that I
you
said
won
is
that
bold.
contest. You won the bold contest.
I will tell you that trailer. I have never laughed out loud more in my life watching a trailer than watching that trailer, and I had never heard of it.
Bruno is going to be a cultural touchstone, not just a movie.
The tricky
Like
thing is
Borat was.
Borat made a
Yeah.
poop ton of money, but I don't think it made as much money as
so what were your
normally
dark?
goes in top
What
10.
was your?
So
What was your
Bruno
one of your
has to make
dark
more
horses?
money
'Cause
than
Bruno.
Borat.
Bruno is one of my dark horses. Okay.
My dark horses are Land of the Lost,
Yeah.
Fuck.
Funny People.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was either Bruno or Funny People in number 10.
Right.
Because Funny People is the new Judd Apatow comedy.
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah.
About the stand-up comedy, about the guy who's
Adam
dying.
Sandler, Judd Apatow, that could be insanely huge.
Could be. I'm sort of over the Apatow thing for me.
I know, but that's not the public.
I go with my heart.
Yeah.
Especially Dark Horse.
And,
that's where my honesty lays.
And Night at the Museum is my third dark horse.
Okay. What about you?
I completely forgot about Land of the Lost, and I
don't
want
think
to.
it'll be
I want
that
to
big.
swap it out.
No,
Bad.
they can't.
I didn't get to put Iron Man on the list.
But you didn't think about it until 3 weeks later.
No.
Not
Not
that
later that day.
No, it was later that day.
All right, okay. My dark horses are Ice Age,
Mm-hmm.
Funny People, and Year One. I would love to swap
God,
Year
Year
One
One is
out
gonna be-
for Land of the Lost because
Sorry.
I think Land of the Lost
No.
will.
So my
Totally.
dark horses
That's
are
a good ad,
Bruno, Drag Me to Hell, Never Know,
Yeah, no.
and something I'm surprised is not one of your dark horses, The Time Traveler's Wife.
That'll be a great. It'll be a nice little movie, but I don't think it's gonna be 200 million.
Yeah.
You know what? None of us have on our list the Denzel Washington movie, which he's a fucking draw, dude.
Yeah, but what's
not
he
top
in?
10.
What's he even
Taking
in?
the Pelham 1, 2, 3. It's a remake with him and
Yeah, I
John
saw all that
Travolta.
stuff.
Our list.
Oh, so here's the other big thing I wanted to mention. What's not on my list at all. District 9, which trailer just came out last night.
Public Enemies isn't on anybody's lists.
Yeah, I don't think.
That was pretty
Johnny
bad.
Depp, dude.
It's later in the summer though, and yes, Johnny Depp, but it's not Pirates Johnny
saying.
Depp.
What's District
So District
9?
9 is, you have to see the trailer, first of all.
Okay.
It's the guy who did the short film.
Oh, that's the one that you
That's
said
the
with
new
guy.
Halo
Yeah,
director.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think it's going to be, in a Cloverfield way, sweep the nation, big deal, like new. This is a kind of movie that's new, and it comes out. If District 9 was coming out in the beginning of the summer, I almost might say it could sweep the nation.
All right.
But
I'm excited. I'm nervous.
yeah.
But I believe that this year is my year. The
And
year
as
of the
always,
dragon.
the wager is the two guys who lose wash the winner's car.
Yeah, and I just got a new car this year, so I'm excited because that bad boy needs a wash. Although
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
have people to
use-
top down. It's less real
Unfortunately,
estate to watch.
if you
Actually, I
win
might
like
do that 'cause
me,
it's
you'll
an
notice
area that never gets
the
done.
wager really is the two guys wash the winner's car poorly.
Well, we'll see.
That's true. That's true.
Speaking of Wolverine.
Actually, we were just speaking of Star Trek.
Oh, we landed on a
Because
good
he
note.
did the
Well, let's start on another good note. Let's start on an uncertain note, because here we have the X-Men Origins Wolverine video game, which is a third-person action game from Raven Software. And you know, the history of video games, history of superhero video games, is not marked with a lot of high notes.
EA Superman. Sorry.
Many
Thought that
bad
was gonna be good.
titles. And not only that, the history of licensed movie property video games is not littered with a lot of high notes.
This was an interesting pool to go wading in.
Third point is games that are released day and date as the film. Not always a good sign, because that means they're locked into that date really early, and they don't, you know, a game can't be pushed if it's going to come out day and date of the film. So a lot of factors leading up to what should, by all accounts, be a pretty crappy game. But Raven Software, pretty decent video game company, video game producing company, and they've done a lot of really awesome games. Been around a long time. Quake 4, Soldier of Fortune, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Good game, you know, decent games. Good games. So, all that being said, what is the verdict? Alex, did you dig X-Men Origins Wolverine? We played it on the
Good that
360.
you use the proper title. I will say I was utterly shocked at how much fun this game was to play for me. I really can't explain how much fun I had playing this game.
I'm going to agree with you.
Good.
X gets a square.
I like it. This is good.
We'll see if we've made tic-tac.
All right, so 2 X's. Oh. So yeah, dude. First off, Unreal Engine, the new Unreal Engine, which I think is great, chugged a couple points.
Really?
Yeah, for me, just there were a couple things. I think I got a little too creative with my killing. There were a couple things like, no, you're lunging too far, fast. This game just makes you feel, which is very hard to do, like you are the character of Wolverine.
Well, like you're the
Especially for
most
Superman.
powerful dude on the screen.
Bro,
right?
you just feel like when people come into the screen, it's just, oh good, some things for me to do cool things with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There was this system, I mean, I know everybody plays differently, and it has some great, like, leveling mechanics and some really, actually quite deep customization stuff that I was pretty impressed with. But I don't know how you guys played, but I was all about the lunging at people thing.
Kind of hard
Yeah.
to not do.
Because that is so freaking satisfying. I mean, I was like lunging, stabbing, and then things happen in slow motion, and I'm like, this guy's blood is on my hands, and the ghost guy's like sucking.
We should say, even though the movie is very PG-13,
This
the
is
game is not. It's
PG-13
very
at all.
M-rated.
Yes.
Decapitations, arms being cut off, gore and blood everywhere.
So I had
Which is an interesting
a
choice.
blast. It's a great choice. That's why I had so much fun. So I had a blast.
Daniel for the block.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about our favorite movie games or whatever.
Okay.
And I said Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Because Spider-Man 2 makes you feel like
you're Spider-Man.
You are Spider-Man. For the first time, you get the feeling that you are swinging around the city. This game does the exact same boop boop thing. It is
How crazy is this game?
This game blew me away.
Yeah.
First of all, that you can feel like Wolverine, and which is just I just also replayed Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. The key, which makes you feel like the character Riddick. That is the key to any video game, is really making the player feel like what he's playing.
Right.
And as you said, most powerful guy on screen.
Yeah.
The graphics.
Yeah.
When the damage that your body takes shows up
No, I want to
on
speak
your
to that.
body.
I want to speak to that because I got to see this game early at GDC with the developers right there, and they made a big point to say what they actually did is model 3 layers of textures on the character all the time. So when you're getting attacked, it strips down through layers of muscle to layers of bone, and then it has a real-time health regen healing factor, Wolverine's healing factor, so it grows back gradually over time.
And guys, you see it.
Yeah,
you
it's pretty
see
cool.
it. And your slashes on things, objects. You see your slashes on the object. It's great. I mean, it just adds to the immersion. Also, do not go see Wolverine this weekend. Play this game.
Better story.
Yeah.
Far better story.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Far better, the most clever action sequences. He did things that, why have I not seen Wolverine do? It's a hard R, hard. But I will just tell you, there's a moment where you stick both your hands into a body, lift it up over your head, and go like this, splitting the body in half.
Yes.
That is just the tippy top of the iceberg of what happens in this game.
A lot of badassery.
Incredible game.
Yeah,
And
you know,
you
it's
obviously
odd.
feel the same way.
I really
I was
enjoyed it
shocked.
too, and it's weird because I'm seeing the early reviews come out, and they're like 5s and 6s out of 10. And I don't understand what's going on.
They're just like, we don't like movie games, so
I don't understand. I
prejudge.
I found this game to be so much fun. I did not want to stop playing it, and
No, me
I
neither.
played for like 8 hours in a stretch, and I didn't want to stop. Usually I get fatigued, but you're right. There's so much creativity.
Oh, yeah.
in you have so many options of how to attack at any given moment, and you continually get new things unlocked as you play, even in the late game. You know, the game it reminded me most of is The Force Unleashed. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Has a very similar upgrade mechanic. And another game where you walk into a room and it's just like, well, now I get to play with all these enemies. And so it felt like that game without the graphic problems.
And you honed in on the upgrade mechanic, the progression. Every great game, you need that progression where you feel like, so it doesn't feel stayed. It doesn't feel
I would
like
also,
the same thing over and over.
I want to pick up too what you said about the story. The way it's told, a bunch of flashbacks, awesome. It weaves in a lot of the movie narrative with a whole new level of narrative that is much more comic booky. You get to fight a Sentinel, and if you're an X-Men fan, it's so badass how you take the Sentinel down.
I didn't get there.
Oh, dude, you have to keep.
I purposely not brought it back, so
It's so
amazing.
amazing.
I know you did because
like you
gave
said,
it to you.
there are these set piece. You're doing a lot of different things through the game too, and there are these set piece that are never ever quick time events.
I was just going to say
You're
that.
always playing. I mean, there's a few like giant button that you need to push, but rarely.
But what they get you to do without it being a quick time event is amazing.
The other thing I will say in closing is that it made me the happiest boy ever because you can unlock the classic yellow and blue Wolverine costume, and you can unlock the brown and tan Wolverine costume and play the whole game through like that, which I did, and it's so awesome. The graphics are done in almost like an Alex Ross, like very realistic, how this costume would really look on a It's like
So
the
cool.
happiest day of all. Okay, so we all really dug that game. I mean, it's not. It's a third-person action game, so it's not like
You know
Fallout
what?
3.
Can I
but-
say I barely like hack and slash games. I can't even remember
I
the
know.
last one that I liked, and I loved this game.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't feel. It's a hack and slash. It doesn't feel like a hack and slash.
Let's talk about some. We're gearing up for E3 now, and there's a lot of pre-E3 announcements that are happening. These games that are new elements of games and new games being announced. And we don't have time to talk about all of them, but there's a couple of PS3 ones I want to touch upon. The first is Uncharted 2, which we all, maybe not as much Alex, but you and I definitely have on the top of our most wanted list.
You betcha, sir.
It's up there because I enjoyed the game. I just didn't.
Right.
Didn't,
We wouldn't connect to you in the same way.
Yes.
But they recently announced that Uncharted 2 is going to have multiplayer. Competitive multiplayer and co-op, although it's not going to be like, going through the story of the game co-op. It's like co-op
hey,
missions.
you can do this with a friend.
Yeah.
Fun.
Very cool announcement trailer, I thought, for that. It starts out as the game, and then he comes over a rise, and there's all these cool things.
Heart. Like,
Is this something that you're digging on?
Dude, I mean, first of all, let me just say, I played through Uncharted, the first one, twice.
Yeah.
Easy mode, or normal mode, hard mode.
Both times before trophies even were
Yeah,
released.
it's not
for it.
fun for me. I don't care about that. I mean, we're not doing
Nah,
that.
I'm still beating you.
You are trophies? Yeah. Dude, well, it doesn't count. It's weird.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Mood.
so in most first-person shooters, you go through the same routine. This kind of game, you're not as lot. You can do so many things in single player of Uncharted. Rolling over this, flipping over that, stabbing the guy, punching the guy, shooting from a distance. But you know what I mean? And you use the world. The fact that you can climb on. I mean, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, and you can do that.
Well, I mean, that was just a ladder. I mean, it wasn't. He wasn't just climbing up a wall. That was clearly a ladder disguised as bricks. I mean, it's not. Other games have ladders that you can get to another level.
Right.
I mean, just
But-
devil's advocate.
That's
But I feel like there's button push because I feel like it's incorporating what we normally do in third-person adventure games into a multiplayer setting.
yeah. It looks really
That'd be
exciting.
cool. I literally was watching it because it doesn't say what it is at the thing, and I don't know why I didn't. You just like click this, watch this, and I was like, okay. So I was watching it, and I go. As soon as the guy started walking, I was like, this looks like it's just Drake's Uncharted 2. Like, why are they excited? And I was like, oh, because it is Drake's Uncharted 2. Of course, it looks like Drake's Uncharted. It looks like super fun time pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Graphically looks amazing. When he was crawling up the wall, it was like epic. Climb up wall in that area, and the thing of having like throwing the thing and shooting it. I love that kind of mechanic. Like there was a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I'm nervous. I mean, I didn't really, it was a good game when I played it, and so this is going to be maybe a good
According to
game.
Dan's
with
barometer,
multiplayer.
he's gonna love it. Well, that's only a movie barometer.
Yeah, that's a movie barometer. I don't know what the game.
The other PS3 announcement that happened this week that has me all Twitter pated is
Twitter pated?
yeah, excited. Is the new game from Q Games, Dylan Cuthbert's company, the PixelJunk series, the PixelJunk Monsters and PixelJunk Eden, which was one of my favorite games of last year. Now they have this new untitled fourth PixelJunk game, and it is very difficult to describe. So you're seeing the video. What was your first impression of what you saw?
It seemed really cool. I mean, I
Dumping
like
water.
the-
It looks like it's
lava and water. It looks like it's.
They're
sort
having a
of
contest
fire and water.
for the name, and I think it should be called PixelJunk Elements.
Good. Hat in ring. Challenge.
Dylan, call me.
I like to call it. No, it's gonna be horrible. But yeah, no. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, 2D sort of side, not really side scrolly, but like very cool
Style. The thing that they do
I
so
love that
well
style,
is a visual style that is unique and very design heavy,
Yeah.
and integrating music in a
Yeah.
really interesting way. And both of those seem to be on display in the
Yeah,
announcement
I mean,
trailer.
it looked awesome.
Yeah. What do you think?
Dope. I mean, the
Dan
art
from
style.
1987 is here.
The art style is very similar to PixelJunk Eden. For the idea, it seems like such a simple idea, and I love these, like when you talked about the game that was all white and you put color, that just sort of breaks the gameplay down to just its core. I like the simple art style aesthetic for that. I would have enjoyed seeing this in a different art style than the last
Just because you
one.
think it looks a little too much like Eden.
It looks a little bit too much like Eden, and it just seems like it would lend itself to being something a little more basic, even. I love the way the fire and the water looked, but everything else. But I love what it looks like the mechanic is. Looks like it's going to be really fun to play.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot to look forward to in the next few months. It's going to get pretty crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome.
Snick it. Oh, I did the
stole my thing.
So before we get to our email, we do want to thank our sponsors, such lovely sponsors as the GoDaddy.com. If you need a domain name, please head over to GoDaddy.com. I should say the name right at least once. GoDaddy.com. They got you covered. .com names. I don't know. I've been that way. Safety and security, privacy settings, tons of great stuff. Easy startup software. Domain names as low as $1.99. Use the coupon code TRS1 when you check out, $10 off your order of $40 or more.
Actually, we're supposed to tell people now to go to revision3.com/GoDaddy.
Because it has a list of all the coupon
All
codes.
the coupon codes for our show and, well, other shows, but you don't need to worry
You
about
don't need
those.
to worry about those. Anyway, GoDaddy.com, use it or lose it. I don't know what that means.
The internet, I think.
Yeah,
use
that's
the
the
internet. Second week sponsor.
What?
Second week sponsor. Gamefly.com.
never gonna connect.
You heard me talk about it last week. It's the Netflix for video games. $15.95 is the starting price. You can get other plans, get as many as 4 games at a time. You can buy those games if you like them for a discounted price. It works like Netflix, so you get the games in the mail, you play them for as long as you want, you can keep them as long as you want, there's no late fees, send it back when you're done playing the game, get the next game in the mail, super awesome.
Love it.
I would recommend a game that came up in the video game section is, Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
If you haven't played that, I highly recommend it. I really dug the game. There were some graphic issues, yes.
I dug it, yeah.
But I thought it was fun.
You know, GameFly is almost a more important service than Netflix because video games are so expensive
Yeah.
that renting them is really the way you want to go.
Yeah.
And when you rent games in Blockbuster or whatever, they usually don't have the new releases in.
Yeah.
So a service like GameFly is so special.
Yeah.
So you heard it here first. Our show is about video games and not movies. Thank you, Dan.
Ah, I love it.
Oh, I need to say, gamefly.com/TTRS gets you the
2-week free
trial,
trial,
and
yeah.
it helps our show. So definitely use that if you're going to do Gamefly.
Awesome. And Squarespace sponsoring. Squarespace is awesome web host design and hosting site. So you can build your website using Squarespace. You need no coding experience. Speaking of video games, I said a few weeks ago, and I'm going to repeat again, that the way that you can customize your car in Burnout or any cool car, any car is a game nowadays. Yeah, Forza. It's that simple to customize your website using Squarespace. My site was designed using Squarespace. If you've never seen any of my commercials, you can see them there at www.dantrachtenberg.com. So check out Squarespace's design.
My website actually is the reason I was elected king of Zimbabwe.
Running gag.
Honorary.
King Jeff.
You've seen.
Running gag.
King Jeff, I love it.
Anyway.
All right.
Go to squarespace.com/something or enter a code.
Enter a code.
Enter
Let's say
the code TRS.
Perfect.
And you get 10% off the entire lifetime of your order.
Love it. All right, well, let's get to our email. Dear Alex, Dan, and Jeff, when I'm busy with grad school teaching and life in general, it always provides me a nice break for my 8-year-old daughter, Emma, and I to sit down together and watch your show and share our love of movies, video games, etc. Emma, my little nerd in training, sweet, loves Star Wars, Indiana Jones, video games, not to mention astronomy. Awesome,
Hi,
love
Emma.
it. Because of your show, we recently started watching Avatar. You're
Awesome.
welcome. Love it.
Which needs to be mentioned right here, right now, that if you do have Netflix, it is a watch instantly. So if you've never seen Avatar, now you can watch it, no excuses.
And if you need an extra 1,000 gamer points, you can use Gamefly to get Avatar and boom.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Amazing. So lost my place. Thank you for that.
I wanted
wanted to thank you guys for giving us. Don't point. That's right. For giving us. This is rude to the email. Poor Emma's like, they pointed at my email. For giving us the opportunity to share this wonderful show, which we both adore together. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
They're talking about Avatar.
Oh. Although Emma loves these things, she has a bit of a hard time sometimes because according to her friends, girls aren't supposed to like Star Wars.
What?
For shame.
What?
I'm sure it would help Emma to know that the three of you enjoy things that you're not supposed to, such as Dan's obsession with The View. Correct.
I wouldn't call it an obsession. It's a watching.
That's an obsession.
I watch it.
When it's a view, that's an obsession. So, what things have the three of you enjoyed or are currently enjoying despite social norms? Steve Allen Moore. Thank you, Steve and Emma. Good question.
Yeah.
We bring it to the nerds, gentlemen.
Steve, clearly you should drop your first name and just go with the
Alan
middle
Moore.
and last.
I love it. Jeffrey.
I'm gonna take this in a little bit of a weird direction because
This is where
there's
the
a lot of
dominatrix
things.
site
There's a
comes
lot
in.
of things I can. Emma's watching. Shush.
It means constructicons.
Dominoes.
Yeah.
The domino matrix.
It's a pizza place.
It's like that movie with Keanu Reeves, but it's
And
really
there's a
boring.
Noid.
They just play card. The Noid. She definitely does not know that.
Go ahead. Need to bring the Noid back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call back.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna make it brief. For me,
Sounds like it.
There's a lot of things we could say, right? Well, there's things we've talked about before that really are weird things that we're into.
Think they just heard
Stop
some.
going the wrong way. I'm gonna say reading. Because I'm talking to Emma right now. And I hope Emma has gotten into reading. When I was around her age, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, there was nothing I liked doing more than reading. And I still love reading, and I find it to be so nourishing for my soul. There's nothing quite like it. I know we talk about movies and video games and TV and comic books on this show, and those are all awesome, and I love them, and they're close to my heart. But reading is fundamental. And I did that.
Yes. I heard it fun, and then it went to fundamental.
No, seriously, I think that there is a big movement. Not movement, but I think probably kids her age probably don't think reading is cool. I don't know. Harry Potter may have changed a lot of that, but you know what?
Kindle.
I freaking love reading, and I think that I just wanted to say that.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. The more you know. Jeff, for some reason you just turned into an animated rabbit that's hopping around on a pile of books.
And that's one to grow on.
I love it.
Well, you've heard me mention The View on past episodes.
Or this episode.
I do watch The View, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I think there should be no reason.
You're ashamed to admit your obsession.
I'm manly enough to say that I watch it.
But you want to say
You want to
obsessed.
say something? You want to do something about it?
Clearly has no issues.
I also, I just saw the trailer coming soon. Back to TV is my favorite TV show. So You Think You Can Dance. It is the greatest show of all time. It's coming. Check it out. Also, I'm a tinge embarrassed to admit that almost every Kelly Clarkson song that comes out on the radio.
Me too!
Me too! For some reason.
I totally just went crazy for that.
Not only did you agree with me, you agree with me in a completely wrong
I know.
way.
The worst way possible.
Yeah.
I honestly.
Every time-
I'm like, this has really got a good hook to it.
Yeah, every time there's a new, I've never heard her full album, but I've always been tempted to. But every time they have a new song on the radio that's by Kelly Clarkson,
you're
I'm
Kelly
in love.
Curious.
We need
is what you are.
Kelly Curious.
We need a support group / dance night.
Oh my God. I love it. I agree that Kelly Clarkson has some great hooks, and I do appreciate her songs. I don't think I got to your place.
You're not coming to our support group?
I could come to that.
/ dance party.
Oh my God. I'm going to say something that is probably now not actually that socially unacceptable. And it's not socially unacceptable.
Ever since the movie Milk came out, it was.
Oh, sweet. I'm actually going to say
drinks milk?
computer programming. Back when I was doing computer programming, that was not a cool thing to be doing.
Now it is.
Now it's sort of come back into phase, but one of the things that I wanted to say about that, because I I mean, I don't know if I have any other things. I'd be more than happy to admit them. I admit things I shouldn't admit on all of my shows.
You're so cool.
I am now. But mainly because the things that I was into that were not cool have now come sort of weirdly into being cool. Like
definitely.
computer programming was not a cool thing in my school. When I was growing up, yeah, when I was growing up, having a computer was not something that one, everybody had, and two, was something that any normal person thought was a cool thing. So in saying that, what I want to say to you is whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you find interesting and you can get passionate about.
Yeah, like astronomy.
Astronomy is a great example. Do it without fear of how anybody else feels about it. Because at the end of the day, you don't know. I mean, we could have some sort of weird meteor coming to Earth, and all of a sudden, all the cool kids are trying to figure out astronomy. So it can't happen.
It happened to Elijah Wood.
It happened.
So Jeff, there's hope that the rat tail might come back.
All right, well, we're not going to go too far.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully that answered your question. If you guys would like to have your question answered on the show, please feel free to send it to fans@totallyradshow.com.
That's also you would send us backgrounds like Brandon did.
Yeah.
We accept them there. That's also the beginning of the show. We need your help. We go to totallyradshow.com/missions. You find out on or about Wednesday what we're going to be doing for the following week. Make us a cool video like the one you saw at the beginning of the show. Be sure to say your name. We want people to know who it is that sent us this in. And it can be as simple as just speaking to the camera, or it could be as complicated as what you saw this week.
Yeah, and we also are going to probably, as many as we can slap onto the tail end of the show so people can see these cool videos that people are submitting. We're going to try to do so.
Oh crap!
I
think the Nick is the name of the guy who sent in the mission video this week, and I have to give props to Nick because that is some wonderfully smart. See how I cue that? Suspense filmmaking. I just thought he did a very good job making that video.
That was cool.
And I want to give props.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, forums?
Forums.
Go to the forums. Find out the movie review ahead of time because it'll be in the mission statement. If you want to be in on the
mission statement for the show.
Yeah.
Love it.
Jinx,
all right, jinx.com/TRS if you want clothes. The hoodies are going fast.
The hoodies are gone, I think.
So they're gone.
But
I
we'll
don't
be
know.
coming
Why
back.
am I making fun of you?
We'll be coming back with a hoodie.
Oh, you can't buy our stuff.
We won't take your money.
We will be coming back with a hoodie.
Yes.
Some shirts may be going away, but others will be coming back.
Yeah.
So if you do want something, grab it.
Yes, or if you're a would-be
want it.
designer and you've got some crazy idea for a fancy TRS hoodie or shirt, send it to us, baby.
Or
We'll
other
rock it.
product. Or other product.
Or other product. We're
Snicked.
so lame.
This week in movies, we are talking about. Wait, I'm gonna do it again.
I thought you were gonna figure it out. You do exactly what Jeff said you did. That's right. He's got all of us.
I can potentially have the giggles this semester.
That's what you
This
mean.
semester. I feel it happening. Is I on camera or off camera with my snick?
You're a little off camera.
It makes me more believable.
You know what?
Dirty. It's dirty.
You got snicked.
I got snicked.
Calling TRS. This is Stefan Herford from Rancho Cucamonga. Your mission this week is review X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. Review the Star Trek movie. And review X-Men Origins Wolverine, the game. Complete this mission and you will be handsomely rewarded. How are you supposed to play with these?